following presentation is a re-release of episode 98, The Quiet Man. Our next brand new episode will be Tuesday, April 1st. Thanks for listening. Hey, movie lovers. This is Leo.
Mike.
And Kevin from Films and Fermentation.
If you love comedy, movies, and a good drink in hand, then you need to check out the Podnation Media Network.
It's home to a variety of amazing podcasts covering everything from pulp culture to history and, of course, movies like ours.
And the best part, Podnation Media Network is featured on Roku, so you can stream your favorite podcasts anytime.
Alongside Films and Fermentation, you'll find other fantastic shows like the KJ&A podcast, The Undiscovered Entrepreneur, Real Sharks, and so many more.
So grab a drink, press play, and join the fun with Podnation Media Network.
Because everything's better with a little comedy, movies, and booze.
Learn more by going to linktree.com/PodNationPods.
Films and fermentation, movies and inebriation. Films and fermentation, comedy mixed with taste elevation. Films and fermentation, with Leo, Catman, and Mike.
Hey everybody, welcome to Films and Fermentation. This is episode 98. As of today, it is March 16th, so St. Paddy's Day is one day away. And as a way of celebrating the all-Irish holiday, we are looking at The Quiet Man. So this episode tonight, episode 98, is lovingly titled Loudly Remembering the Quiet Man. Right, we are Films and Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Mike.
We're three friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced.
Gentlemen. Oh, no, go.
Yes,
You go
go
ahead. You go ahead. No, you go ahead. And then I'll chime in.
In this episode, we honor the most Irish of holidays, St. Paddy's Day, by revisiting a seminal Irish classic and one of John Wayne and John Ford's best films, The Quiet Man. I am going to insert a trailer here, so just bear with me.
Okay.
Let's see if this works. Have you ever seen the trailer for this film? It's
I think
pretty much. It's pretty much the entire film, like in one big synopsis.
I'd like to tell you about The Quiet Man. He's John Wayne in a picture you'll soon be cheering. It's the story of Sean Thornton, a right-intended man who came from America to forget his past in Innisfree. There he met a fiery red-headed lass, and the village marriage broker went to work.
That's a pretty bonnet you have on.
Bonnet? Don't you be talking to me about bonnets. After leaving mine stuck up there like a...
Easy now. Have the good manners not to hit the man until he's your husband, and entitled to hit you back.
Then her bully of a brother, Red Will Danaher, refused to pay her rightful dowry.
There'll be no locks or bolts between us, Mary Kate, except those in your own mercenary little heart.
Mary Kate left him to go to Dublin, but he caught her at the station and brought her back with the whole town watching him do it.
This is like a summary that one of my students wrote.
I'll pay you. Never.
Then the fight was on. A fight they're still talking about in Innisfree. It's a wonderful picture. The finest ever brought to the screen by John Ford, and he's won 3 Academy Awards. His direction makes unforgettable the performances of John Wayne, Maureen O'Hara, Barry Fitzgerald, and Victor McLaughlin.
I mean, aside from giving away the ending of the film,
Yeah.
pretty much the entire
Yeah.
movie right there.
Well, they didn't give the whole ending because they didn't give away. Here's a nice stick to hit the pretty lady with.
I was gonna say, like, that's. I don't even have to give a synopsis of the film anymore.
No,
Well,
that's
I guess
it. You got it.
And that's our show.
That's the show.
That's all we have time for today.
That's all we have time for tonight because it took 40 minutes for Mike to turn his mic on.
And I still ain't got it on.
Don't forget to drop us an email, filmsfermentation@gmail.com, or visit linktree.com/filmsfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. Right now, we are now on Buzzsprout as our new hosting platform. Let me tell you a little bit about Buzzsprout. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners. The team at Buzzsprout is passionate about helping you succeed. Join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get their message out to the world. We just started using Buzzsprout, and it's been a game changer for us. If you want an upgrade, Buzzsprout has tons of guides to help you find the right equipment you need, as well as the right programs to record your podcast. Buzzsprout gets your show listed in every major podcast platform. You'll get a great-looking website, audio players that you can drop into other websites, detailed analytics to see how people are listening to you, and tools to promote your episode and more. So do what we did and switch to Buzzsprout today. What are we drinking tonight, gentlemen? It's an important drinking holiday, so.
I think Mike is saying that he's got tequila.
No, I went out and got Southern Tier Irish Cream Stout.
That is the one that I was hoping to get. That was my white whale. I could not find a single of that.
I didn't get a single.
I bought the six pack.
So I'll bring it over tomorrow night.
All right.
All right. Well,
Kevin.
Kevin brought a lunchbox. Okay. And he's already cracked into his first one, which is George Killian's Irish Red. A good go-to, which is I don't know. I can't even. It's
Mike's got a Killian's as well.
Oh, there you go. So we got some alcohol going on there.
Killian's was my go-to when I was younger.
Guinness.
Traditional Guinness.
All right. We have the Tom's River Celtic Sunrise. We have the Empire Black Magic Irish Coffee Stout.
I saw that today. I went, no.
We have the Sloop Brewing no green beer. No green beer. There we go. Okay. We have a Southern Tier Blackwater Series Nitro Thick Mint. Okay. And to polish it all off, to chase it down, a little Quiet Man whiskey.
Kevin's going to drink all of that in the next half hour.
That's right.
and go to work tomorrow and teach kids.
Well, he's got a PD tomorrow.
I'm going to go to work tomorrow. Let's not put the cart before the horse. I'll go to work tomorrow.
So I had a bottle of the Quiet Man whiskey, and I was going to drink it tonight, and then I couldn't find it, and I'm thinking I must have finished it since the last time I drank it, which was probably the last St. Patty's Day show that we did. But I wanted to go
that night.
Yeah, I wanted to go with whiskey because it's the Irish thing to do. So I am drinking Jesse James Outlaw whiskey, figuring John Ford and John Wayne did a lot of westerns together. So let me drink the Outlaw whiskey
with Maureen O'Hara too.
Yes, they did five films together.
Yes,
John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara. So cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Mike, what do you got for us historical wise this week? Irish holiday. Let's talk about this fact.
This day in film history.
History.
In 1972, The Godfather, based on the book by Mario Puzo, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and starring Marlon Brando and Al Pacino, premieres in New York. Academy Award Best Picture in 1973.
Yes.
It didn't have a Ford in it.
Welcome to the St. Patty's Day episode where the names of every actor in that statement ended in a vowel.
I went John Ford, Francis Ford, Coppola.
Well, we had already did our Godfather episode a while back for the 50th anniversary, which was in 2022. It was actually this month that it was released. So, Mike, do you have a must-try beer or craft destination for us?
I have a must-try beer. It is Nitro Berlin Milk Stout from Firestone Walker Brewing Company in California. A rich and creamy beer gets even richer and creamier with the nitro treatment. A blend of nitrogen gas gives this brew tiny bubbles and thick, velvety foam. However, you have to go against your better instincts and pour one roughly into a glass to get the full effect. Instructions are on the can. Expect espresso and caramel aromas from the black 5.5 alcohol by volume brew. A very smooth, balanced palate with a thick mouthfeel and a little, if any, bitterness from the grain or hops. This one glides down the gullet easily, but relatively lightweight. Keep it drinkable. Lightweight keeps it drinkable. One extra smooth stout. So since it's St. Patrick's Day, we'll do stouts.
I
Nice.
barely heard most of what you just said because as soon as you said the phrase "tiny bubbles," I started singing the song in my
Tiny
head.
bubbles.
Tiny bubbles
So
in
here,
the wine
you can read it.
make me feel happy, make me feel fine. All right.
Or listen to the episode and you know what I said.
I will be listening to the episode. You know that. Synopsis according to Glip. Brought to you by Newsly. Newsly is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. Stop scrolling, start listening. You can hear your news read to you by a natural human voice. And if you use the promo code ANFERMENT, you will get 1 month premium subscription for free. As I said, stop scrolling, start listening. Newsly.me. So this is Newsly. So this is our synopsis according to Glip from last week. Last week was our women in Hollywood episode, our female characters breaking barriers. This is what Glip decided to pull out as the highlights of the show. The participants talked about 4 episodes of films, the actual name of Shirley Temple, the history of the Oscars, the historical accuracy of the inner world, roles of women, sweaty Karens, and doing the tiny princess.
What in the blue ball?
What in the blue balls? Oh my!
Great
Oh
googly
my.
moogly. So I don't know what 4 episodes of the film is. I really don't remember that part. The Shirley Temple thing was Kevin making a joke about what Shirley Temple's real name was, which was a joke.
But
We talked about the
we're still
Oscars
looking
a little
into
bit.
Yeah.
I don't know what historical accuracy the inner world is.
Neither do I. We did talk about roles of
We
women.
did talk about roles of women, and we did talk about sweaty Karens and tiny princesses as well, because that was part of the blooper reel.
Mhm.
But man, I love reading the Glip synopsis and just waiting to see what it pulls out as highlights from the show. So this past Sunday was the 95th Oscars, and I watched the whole thing and really enjoyed the whole thing for once in a while, because everything that won was things that I wanted to see win. So Ke Huy Quan won for Best Supporting Actor for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Mhm.
So happy to see Short Round get an Oscar. Not only did he get an Oscar, but when the film won for Best Picture, Harrison Ford was the one giving out the award.
Yeah.
So they had a little moment on stage
Little
together. It was really
embrace.
cool. I was really shocked that Jamie Lee Curtis won Best Supporting Actress for Everything. I really thought it was going to be Angela Bassett
Mhm.
for Wakanda Forever, but it just goes to show you the Oscars are still not ready to hand the MCU an award.
No.
Best Actor was Brendan Fraser for The Whale.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to see him win an Oscar. He was great in that movie. The movie itself is not great, but it's worth it for his performance. And Best Actress, I thought it was going to be Cate Blanchett because she was leading all of the voting going into the Oscars.
For
And lo
Tar?
and behold, it was my girl, Michelle Yeoh, for Everything Everywhere All at Once, becoming the first Asian actress to win the Best Actress Oscar. And then, of course, the film won for Best Picture, Best Adapted, or Best Original Screenplay, and Best Directors, because there's two guys who did the film together.
Mm-hmm.
And so overall, I really enjoyed it because it was an Oscars where things won that I wanted to see win, and not just art house films. And so, having watched a lot of movies in the last couple of weeks in anticipation of the Oscars, I put together my list of my top films of the year so far. Now, I haven't seen everything, so there's some things that aren't on this list, but these are all movies that I've seen within the last year that I really enjoyed. My favorite film of the year was Everything Everywhere All at Once, and not just because of Michelle Yeoh. It was an amazing film, very original, very creative, very fun, funny in certain points, dramatic in others, great action, very poignant ending. Number two, top film of the year, was not nominated for any Oscars, which was surprising, but I really liked this movie. It was The Menu with Ray Fiennes and Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah.
It was a fun movie. My third favorite film of the year was The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, starring Kevin's favorite actor, Nicolas Cage. Number four, I actually just watched this week, Elvis.
How was it?
It was pretty good. Kevin, you'll be surprised that I have it this high on my list, considering it was directed by Baz Luhrmann.
Baz
I'm not a
Luhrmann,
Baz Luhrmann fan.
No.
It was interesting. It was really interesting. The weirdest part of the film was Tom Hanks's accent.
As the general, not the general, the colonel.
It's Colonel Parker, yeah, because Colonel Parker was from the Netherlands. So Tom Hanks's Dutch accent was very odd. My number five film was The Banshees of Inisherin with Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson.
And Jenny.
Number six, Women Talking. Number seven is a horror film, and it was one of the most original horror films I've seen in a while. It's called Barbarian. Number eight was The Woman King with Viola Davis. Number nine is the prequel to The Predator, Prey, which was really cool. It was a Hulu original film. And number 10, The Batman.
The Batman.
Robert Pattinson.
Batman.
And then, just missing that top 10 list would be some MCU films and The Whale and a few other movies. But those are my favorites of the year, at least from the ones that I've watched. And
Gentlemen, I have some movie trivia tonight.
Ooh, give me some movie trivia.
Yes, movie trivia brought to you by Jeopardy, because it was the final Jeopardy category.
Nice. Let me see if I can answer it before you.
Okay, the category was 1980s movies, so right up our alley.
Yep.
And the clue was a writer and producer of this movie said he wanted it to be like a Western or James Bond film, only it takes place in the 1930s.
An 80s movie.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted it to be like a Western or a James Bond film.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes place in the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana Jones.
Very good. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah.
The only movie I could think of that took place in the 30s.
Well, when it first came out, I thought it might have been Chinatown. But I was wrong.
Well, Chinatown came out in the 70s.
Oh, well.
So that wouldn't have been on there. But I'm like, a Western and a James Bond film?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't see either of those.
A Western or a James Bond film.
But I don't see either of those in Raiders of the Lost Ark. To me, it's more like a swashbuckling film, venture film, like one of those. And I know this is something that Spielberg and George Lucas were both fans of, those serial films that they used to show in the 30s and 40s and 50s, where you'd go to movies to see a chapter like every week of the movie.
Right.
So it's like that kind of film. I don't see the Western. I'll believe what he wants to tell me because it's Spielberg. But I don't see the Western James Bond part of it. We'll be back with our main segment after this short commercial break from Today We Laughed and Learned.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Deb.
And we host a pretty fun podcast called Today We Laughed and Learned. You know, this is where we discuss all the things we should have learned, but, well, never did. And we have quite a few laughs along the way.
Today We Laughed and Learned with Chris and Deb.
We're curious about everything. Experts on nothing.
Come find us wherever you get your podcasts.
That short commercial break, we just want to remind you that we're going to be on the All Hallows Eve podcast. Let me get these dates right this time. We're recording on Saturday, March 25th with All Hallows Eve. On Monday, March 27th, you're going to be getting 2 new episodes featuring us, your Films and Fermentation friends. We'll be the guest spot on the new All Hallows Eve episode, which is their March horror movie bracket episode. And you'll also be getting our 99th episode on March 27th, which will be a look at the career of Tim Burton. On March 30th, we're going to be recording our 100th episode, everyone. The 100th episode will be dropping on Monday, April 3rd. So we hope you all join us for that very special landmark episode. In the meantime, our main segment tonight, we're revisiting a seminal John Ford, John Wayne classic, The Quiet Man, which was released in 1952 and received some Oscar love in 1953.
That was a silent film, right, Lee?
It was a silent film. Quiet Man. Yes, this is why I called it Loudly Remembering the Quiet Man, because I know we have trouble being quiet. So I figured we'd look at it a few ways here. We're going to break down the film. We're not going to do like a synopsis or like a general review like we would do for other movies. This is a movie that the three of us have seen numerous times. It's a St. Paddy's Day tradition for all of us. It's a movie that we've seen enough that we can probably quote scenes in our sleep. And so tonight we're going to talk about what we think is our most rewatchable scene in the film. What is our favorite quote from the film or favorite quotes? What do we think aged the best in the movie and what aged the worst? I have a couple things for that. Who would we give the overacting award to? I definitely have one for that one. Then I have some trivia, a little more trivia, and Oscar trivia. And then we'll save the last question as a surprise question because I think it's one that I kind of see a unanimous decision on that one. So, gentlemen, we know that The Quiet Man, which was released in 1952, directed by John Ford, starring John Wayne, Maureen O'Hara, Barry Fitzgerald, Victor McLaughlin, and a few others. Story of a retired American boxer returning to the village of his birth in 1920s Ireland, where he falls in love with a spirited redhead whose brother is not happy about their, impending union together. And, hilarity and hijinks and fights and drinking ensue, as you would expect in a film that's this Irish. Go ahead, Mike.
Did we miss this movie on our narrated movies, though?
I think we did, because then I didn't realize it. I rewatched it last night, and I'm like, oh, wow, I forgot that this had narration in it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's not a lot of narration. There's a little bit in there.
No, it's some at the beginning.
But the narration is the priest.
Yes.
The one that's always trying to catch the catfish or whatever it is he's trying to get.
Catholic priest, yeah.
Yeah, the Catholic priest is the one narrating.
Not the Protestant guy.
Not Mr. Playfair, no. So it was a narrated film, which we definitely missed. And we've talked about it before because we've had it on our St. Paddy's Day episode a couple of years ago, and I know it's come up here and there in other episodes. So what is your favorite scene or scenes, or the scene that you think is like the most rewatchable scene? I have 3 that I chose for this.
I think one of my favorite scenes is just the lengthy fight scene towards the end that goes through the country into the town. They even take a brief intermission to grab a drink, stop for a drink, and then show each other some appreciation for each other, and then pick it back up again.
I like how that turns into a fight too, because they're fighting over who's going to pay. And I had that on my list. It's the 9-minute fight scene.
I like the first bar scene because there's little nuances in there, like when the brother comes in with his number 2 guy, and that guy's like sees a beer on the bar, just picks it up, drinks it, and at the end where they keep filling the beers and the McLean keeps drinking the pints down and
like the bartender's like, the drinks are on the house, and they all look at him, and he's like, what? I mean it. Drinks are on the house.
Well, that was like the 3rd time at the bar.
I like so I have the 9-minute fight scene on there. I have the opening train scene as a really fun scene when he arrives in Ireland for the first time.
Oh yeah, the conversation between the conductor and the
yeah. And I like, it's one of my favorite quotes in that scene too, where he goes to the conductor and he goes, "Can you tell me how to get to Inisherin?" And what's the name of the town?
Innisfree.
Innisfree. So can you tell me how to get to Innisfree? And the conductor goes, "Oh yeah. Oh, you see that road over there? Yeah, that'll do you no good."
He's part Italian.
I don't think you're no good. The other scene I have down is one of my favorite rewatchable scenes. Is the one where he drags Mary Kate across the countryside.
Yeah, from the train station.
Yeah, from the train station.
Here's a nice stick so you can beat the lovely lady.
Beat the lovely lady. Or come on, it's just a brisk 5-mile walk.
I love the scene. It's he's meeting the town people, and what's the character's name? Finn. No, not Finn. McLean is talking to the guys that he's with, and he goes into explaining what a sleeping bag is.
Yeah.
Bag is sleeping.
Or he drags her into the bedroom and throws her on the bed and breaks it.
Mm-hmm. And then they say it the next day.
Yeah. I also like the scene where they're doing the courtship thing and they're riding on the back of his cart and they're not allowed to sit next to each other or hold hands or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then they hop on the bike and ride away. Mm-hmm. And that leads to the iconic, graveyard scene, which leads to the kiss in the rain, which is, the more sentimental part of the film. But it's still a great film, a great scene though.
It's also used in E.T.
Yeah,
I've seen that part of E.T. as a kid. You have no idea what the hell that is. It's just cut in there, and then when you get older and you start to watch Quiet Man and appreciate it, it's like, oh, look at that.
Mm-hmm. And even the way that Elliot spins the girl around and kisses her is mimicking the Quiet Man.
And how he has to step on the other kid because she's taller than he is, so that he has to, And
the other girl, isn't that like Erica Eleniak or something like that? I know it's like somebody from like Baywatch or something.
Yeah, I think that was the girl from Baywatch. Yeah.
So we've already named a few. What are some of your favorite quotes from the film? I actually have a whole list of them. I'm going to bring them up.
Well, my favorite, or one of my favorites, is, "Well, it's a fine soft night, so I think I'll go and join me comrades and talk a little treason."
Talk a little treason. That's probably my, aside from the beat the young lady with the stick thing, like that's probably my favorite quote in the film.
I like the one
so
right before the fight where the guy, the brother's like, "The IRA's on this too," and like, "No, if it was, your whole house would be burnt.
Your whole house would be burnt to the ground." When Micheline is drinking all the whiskey in Mary Kate's house, and she's like, "Did you use a little water in your whiskey?" And he's like, "When I drink whiskey, I drink whiskey. When I drink water, I drink water." Here's a good stick to beat the lovely lady we've talked about.
I like the consistent use that Squire Will Danaher constantly says to his page. He's like, "Okay, take that down, put that down, put his name down," and he says the name of the person. "You're in my book," and that goes right into the book.
Put a line through.
"Do you have his name in my book?" "Yes." "Cross it out. He's dead to me." And then
the one line I did like from him was, "He'll regret it to his dying days if he lives that long."
Yeah. Then you got the John Wayne, who plays Sean Thornton, line that was in the trailer. "There'll be no locks or bolts between us, Mary Kate, except those in your own mercenary little heart." But here's another. This is another great one. He's got an argument with Red Will Donaher, and he's like, "I'll count to 3, and if you're not out of the house by then, I'll loose the dogs on you." And John Wayne says to him, "If you say 3, mister, you'll never hear the man count 10." He said that, like, I forgot that line. He said it last night when I was rewatching it. Katie and I were watching it, and he says that line, and what fucking John Wayne. Such a John Wayne line. What's the thing he says when they're courting? When she gets angry at him for not grabbing her bonnet during the race, and Micheline's like, "Oh, no, wait until you're married, so that way when you hit him, he has the right to hit you back." Oh yeah, here's the sleeping bag one, Mike. He's a nice, quiet, peace-loving man. Come home to Ireland to forget his troubles. Sure, yes, he's a millionaire, like all the Yanks. But he's eccentric. Oh, he is eccentric. Wait till I show you his bag to sleep in. A sleeping bag, he calls it. Here, let me show you how it operates.
They're trying to figure out how it opens.
This is a great one. Mary Kate says to one of the other guys, "What manner of a man is it that I have married?" And he says, "A better one, I think, than you know, Mary Kate."
Yeah.
This is a good one. This is from the priest, the narrator. It says, "Now I want you all to cheer like Protestants."
Yeah, for the bishop that came to town.
Oh, what a day for Innisfree. On a day like this, I could say only one thing, gentlemen. The drinks are on the house.
And
well, they are. And then Will Donaher says, "I'll let you buy me a drink at your wake."
Now, this isn't a quote, but this is a scene that I just remembered, and it is during the 9-minute fight scene. But there's a priest giving the last rites, I guess.
Yeah.
Man in the dying
old
bed.
man that got up.
And then the fight's taking place. He gets up out of his bed and starts chasing down to watch the fight.
Trying to put his pants on as he's running out of the house. There's another one I wrote.
The same old man that had the stick that wanted to beat.
Yeah. I thought of a scene too. It's not a quote, it's a scene. It's when they're riding away on the bicycle and Micheline's chasing them in the carriage, and he comes to the bar and the horse stops. Because the horse
goes, "You have a better mind than I do.
You have better sense than I do." And it's like, because the horse is trained to stop at the bar.
Here's another funny part with a horse. Is when John Wayne was going to the train station to go drag Mary Kate back. You see, he gets off the horse. The horse takes off. Doesn't want to see this shit.
Yeah,
he gets out.
Yeah. That's a John Ford thing, man. There's great little like side things that like you don't notice until like the 8th or 9th or 20th time you've rewatched it. What has aged the best in your opinion?
What's aged the best?
For me, I said the cinematography.
Yeah,
like it is a beautiful film. Even the fake scenes that are obviously done on sound stages.
Yeah,
right.
It's still a beautiful movie. The score is great.
Yep.
Great theme song, and the John Wayne Maureen O'Hara chemistry, which led to 5 films together.
Yeah.
They have great chemistry.
The subtleness of their relationship, I mean, even though she's hot-tempered and everything else, when they're together, when they're intimate, it's just very subtle. Him sitting in the chair and she comes and sits on the arm of the chair next to him, and he puts his arms around her.
That's one subtle scene. The whole thing about the locks and bolts thing, that was not quite a subtle scene because she was all hot to trot.
No, that's not. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's not subtle, but like. And those are supposed to be. It's supposed to be that way, There's the whole scene. It's 2 women in one house, and one of them's a redhead. Now
that's another line too. When they're trying to trick Donaher into giving her to John Wayne, and they're like, that's why the widow Tulane won't marry you, because you already have a woman in the house. And so he marries her off so that he can get Tulane to marry him, and she's like, "No, you fool." What aged the worst? Domestic abuse for comedy.
The
dragging her across Ireland.
The setting of the film, the time frame of the film. Many people nowadays don't even understand
No,
dowries and
I had that down too. I had dowries down as something that doesn't
Mhm.
age well.
No.
Dowries and domestic abuse for comedy.
I mean, I'll be honest. When I saw the movie to begin with, my mother had to explain to me the whole dowry situation. Like,
Mhm.
he doesn't care about her money. Why does she care? And my mom's like, no, you don't understand the importance of it. You know, why it's hers and what it means to her. I was
Mhm.
like, you know.
But it does lead to that great scene where he finally gets the money from Donaher, and
Mhm.
she opens up the door to the furnace and before he throws the money in.
Right.
which means I had to explain that part to Adrian that she didn't care about her having the money. She just didn't want her brother to
Her
have
brother
the
to have the money.
Mhm.
Yeah. It also shows that her and John Wayne have now come to like sort of an understanding at that point too. The overacting award, I gave it to Barry Fitzgerald as Micheline because
But he was great.
it's some of the I'm not saying he's not great. I love him. He's my favorite character in the movie, but it's some of the worst like drunk acting I've ever seen.
Was he acting? Are
That's
we
the thing.
sure
I
he
don't
was
know if he was
acting?
acting or not, but I also have the line when he sees the broken bed, impetuous, Homeric. He uses Homeric twice in the film. He says it at another point too.
I think mine was Victor McLagan.
McLaughlin.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he's the only actor who got nominated for an Oscar in that film.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he seemed over the top. You know, a lot of
Mhm.
he almost seemed like Curly from the Three Stooges with his motions and his you know.
No, but that's how he acts
recital.
in all his. That's him as an actor in general.
Yeah,
'Cause
he always played like the heavy in films. He was always like the
and
because he's such a big
a
guy.
lot, and a lot of the ones he was John Wayne. He was John Wayne's number 2 in a lot of the movies
Mhm.
with him.
But he was always like because he's
So.
such a big imposing guy. He always kind of played that character. So here's some trivia for you: the naming process of the film. The two lead characters, Sean and Mary Kate, were named after John Ford's first name in Irish, Sean, and the two ladies that John Wayne loved the most, Mary, his wife, and Katharine Hepburn. The original title of the film was not The Quiet Man. The original title was The Prize Fighter and the Colleen. Colleen Colleen was sort of like a slang term in Ireland at the time for an unmarried woman.
Oh,
like a spinster. So it was kind of like the prize fighter and the spinster. Ford had to fight with the studio to get the title changed to The Quiet Man. The studio really wanted the prize fighter and the Colleen to be the title.
Really? I don't think it would have done as well.
It was a rough shoot for Maureen O'Hara. In the scene where she slaps John Wayne and he blocks her hand, she actually broke her wrist.
Oh,
and because the film
that's pretty graphic.
Yeah, because it was filmed non-sequentially out of order, she wasn't able to wear a cast, and so she acted and worked with a broken wrist throughout the entire shoot.
Oh,
including the scene where he's dragging her through the field.
Oh,
she had no stunt double for that scene. He was actually dragging her across the field.
Actually, she kept losing her damn shoes.
Despite that, Maureen O'Hara revealed in a later interview that The Quiet Man was the favorite of all of the films that she made. It is one of the few Hollywood films to actually use Gaelic, spoken Gaelic language in the film.
That's when she's talking to the priest saying that she didn't sleep together on her wedding night.
Can I speak to you in the old language?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's how they get away with that conversation. Mike is speaking it in Gaelic.
Yeah.
Other movies featuring scenes like this are Darby O'Gill and the Little People in 1959, The Wind That
Sean
Shakes the
Connery.
Barley in 2006, and The Guard in 2011 all use Gaelic in their dialogue at some point. The color green can be seen somewhere in every shot of the film, but not on any of the actors' costumes except for Maureen O'Hara. So, like, I noticed that in one of the scenes last night when he bought the house and he was refurbishing it, he was painting one of the wagons outside, and the wagon was green.
And the door was green. He painted,
Despite its beautiful portrayal of the Irish countryside, the film was criticized by some for showing an unrealistic portrayal of the Irish Free State in the 1920s. As I said already, Maureen O'Hara and John Wayne would go on to do 5 movies together: The Quiet Man, Rio Grande, The Wings of Eagles, McClintock, and Big Jake.
I could have named them without looking at the list.
I know you could, yeah. The town has you can actually visit the town even though it's not real. There are replicas of the cottage throughout Galway in Ireland. And yeah, the one that you said, Kevin, the ET Easter egg, because Steven Spielberg viewed John Ford as one of his biggest inspirations. That scene was thrown in there as a homage to The Quiet Man. I have a few other little trivia things here. John Wayne was disappointed that by the exterior sets because he felt that they were very unconvincing. Those are basically the scenes where they're like on the wagon and you see the fake background kind of rolling in the
Right
behind them. They filmed a lot of it on a soundstage. Not as much of it was in Ireland as you think. Let's see what else we got here. Charles Fitzsimmons, who plays Hugh Forbes, and James O'Hara, who plays Father Paul, were real-life younger brothers of Maureen O'Hara.
Huh.
Okay.
And Barry Fitzgerald and the actor who plays Reverend Playfair were brothers in real life as well. So it was like a real family film. Victor McLaughlin was 64 years old during the filming and in very poor health. So his fight with John Wayne that lasted 9 minutes of the film had to be filmed very carefully because he was just not really in the physical condition for what they needed him to do. Just a few of those. This is, like I said, Maureen O'Hara's favorite film. She does all of her own singing in the movie. And all those scenes where she's sitting at the piano.
Did you mention this one in the fight at the end of the film? Victor McLaughlin appears to knock John Wayne's toupee off of with the first punch.
Yeah. It's alleged that when Maureen O'Hara passed away in 2015, she was listening to the score from the film. That's not confirmed though. And in December 2013, the Library of Congress selected this movie for preservation in the National Film Registry.
Nice.
It's a movie that'll never go out of print. And the last one I have here is some Oscar trivia. I was surprised by this. So it didn't win Best Picture. It's one of the few movies where the director won the Oscar for Best Director, but the movie didn't win for Best Picture. So in that trailer that I played earlier, I talked about how John Ford had 3 Oscars at the time. This was his 4th.
Right.
The actors that year, Gary Cooper won Best Actor for High Noon. And other nominees that year were Marlon Brando for Viva Zapata, Kirk Douglas for The Bad and the Beautiful, Jose Ferrer for Moulin Rouge, and Alec Guinness for The Lavender Hill Mob. John Wayne did not get an acting nomination for this movie. The only actor to get nominated for the film was Victor McLaughlin in the supporting role category, but that Oscar that year went to Anthony Quinn for Viva Zapata. Maureen O'Hara never received an Oscar nomination in her entire career.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
shocking.
Yeah.
It won for cinematography, which I already said the cinematography is beautiful in this. Back then, they had a cinematography award for color films and black and white films.
Oh, wow.
Because they were still, so this won the cinematography for color.
They were still segregated.
Yeah. And as I said, John Ford won the 4th Oscar of his career for this film for directing, but it did not win Best Picture. Best Picture that year went to The Greatest Show on Earth, which was directed by Cecil B. DeMille. Other movies that year nominated for Best Picture were High Noon, Ivanhoe, Moulin Rouge, and The Quiet Man. So I was kind of surprised by that it didn't win Best Picture.
Yeah.
So my last question here. Could this be remade as a 10-episode streaming series? Or even be rebooted as a movie? My answer to that is fuck no.
No.
No, I don't think
you can't.
I don't think I think it gets my attention for that movie for the 2 hours, but 10 hours of it, I don't think you can get anybody's
And
attention enough for
I
that.
think you'd have to change it so much because
Yeah.
of how things are today that you'd lose the essence of the movie. You know?
Yeah, like I even think like if you did it as a reboot film,
You had to change it too much to even it wouldn't
Yeah.
even be recognizable.
Mhm.
I don't think the comedy would come through as well because it's such a specific time frame for the comedy of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know if the
The
love
whole
story would be as
element of the
believable.
dowry, which
Mhm.
is such a driving factor throughout the movie. I mean, that would have to be.
That being said, if you did have to remake this film, who would you recast? I'm thinking Colin Farrell for John Wayne's part, just because it's on the
Mhm.
nose since he's an Irish actor.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
actually, you don't need an Irish actor for the John Wayne part. Maybe
Mm-mm.
Colin
Because he's
Farrell could
coming
be
from
the
America, you know.
Colin Farrell could be the brother. It could be Will Donahue.
Yeah.
Donahue.
You can get
Maybe Mara. Come on, help me out here. Mara, the sister. Mara, come on. Who am I
Rooney
thinking of?
Mara.
Here? No, not Rooney Mara. Derg. Hold on. Okay, Kate Mara.
Kate Mara
To
for
play
for Marina
Mary
Harris
Kate.
part. Mary Kate.
Yeah.
I was thinking you go with an actual Irish actress. So you can do, Saoirse Ronan,
Mm-hmm.
somebody like that, or yeah, I don't know. I think it's an interesting little recast.
Mm-hmm.
Who would play a good drunk?
Well, you know what? You could go to Will Ferrell for that too.
I was trying to think of like an actual like an Irish actor or maybe like a British actor who could play Irish.
Oh, I got one. How about who's um the Master?
The Master.
Yeah,
Derek Jacobi. The old Master or the young Master?
the old.
Derek Jacobi.
No, the younger one.
That's I don't know the actor's name, but I know who you're talking about.
The one that played Scotty.
Simon Pegg.
Oh, you're talking about Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg.
He wasn't the Master. That
Wasn't he?
That wasn't him in Doctor Who. He was in Doctor Who, but he wasn't the Master. He was the guy that ran the TV station in the Christopher Eccleston season.
No, but I could see him playing a good
But he could play. He could do the Michelin character.
Michelin. Yeah.
It's interesting to think about, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely don't think it's a movie that could be remade or should be remade at all.
And I think we get Pedro Pascal to play the John Wayne character.
I'm okay with that. I don't know. He doesn't really play a convincing Irishman, I don't think, though. But
No, he doesn't have to. He has to be an American coming to Ireland.
But he was born in Ireland. That's the important part. His name's Sean Thornton. He was born in Innisfree.
Yeah. What do Batista? How about that?
I was thinking Nick Cage. Your mercenary heart. Oh, let's get Christopher Walken to play Michelin. At least wait until you're married. So if you hit him, he has the right. Mike, you have any beer trivia or history for us this evening?
I do. Beer history. William of Malmesbury, a famous English historian of the 12th century, wrote that during the reign of Henry II, the English were overly fond of drinking ale. By that time, monasteries had already become famous for producing this dark, warm, fermented, fruity style beer.
Nice. Kev, did you get through all your beers tonight?
I got through 2 of them. I got through the bottom of the Guinness is right here. So,
nice.
I took the 2 that I had before, and you may see some of these appear tomorrow night. I may make a pit stop on the way. But,
Kevin, how's yours? Or Mike, how's your stuff?
That's really good.
So, when we started tonight, when I say when we started, I mean it was at the beginning of the 40 minutes. We were waiting for Mike to figure out his equipment. My bottle was probably about here, and then by the time we started the actual show, it was probably about here. So now we're like here.
And all Mike had to do was check the plug. It was just the plug that wasn't in the wall.
Just the plug, yeah.
No, it wasn't the plug. Believe me, it
Turn
was
it off
sure.
and turn it back on again. That's all.
Exactly.
Did that twice.
Guys, should we attempt an Irish goodbye at the end of the episode? We just go on. What happened? Did we lose them? No, they just turned it off.
We should do an Irish drinking song. So
Rocky
thank you
Road to
for
Dublin.
Oh, Danny boy.
The pipes are calling.
We
From
should sing the song they
glen to
sing.
glen.
I noticed they're speaking of quotes from the film when they get married, and they have they have their little reception afterwards. The men are singing a song about making a mistake and getting married.
Yeah.
At the reception. So thank you everybody for joining us tonight for episode 98, Loudly Remembering the Quiet Man. We hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Don't forget to drop us an email, filmsandfermentation@gmail.com, or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation for all of our podcast and social media links. You can go to Patreon to give us some support. You can go to our Teespring store to buy some merchandise. And don't forget to check it out in a couple weeks when we appear as guests on the All Hallows Eve podcast. Don't forget to stop by the crossroads between Pickled and Fermented next week as we present episode 99, a look at the career of filmmaker Tim Burton. That should be a really fun, really interesting episode. It's the 35th anniversary of Beetlejuice next week.
Nice.
Which is kind of why I decided to go with the Tim
times.
Burton episode. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Should have came up with some sort of like Irish thing to say at the end there.
I'm Mike.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. I got the quote. Hold on. It's from the film. It's one of the toasts that they give. Hold on. I'll find it. It's on here somewhere. I know it's here. I'll find it. Hold on. Where is it?
I don't know. You said you knew it's there.
God damn it. I know it's here. It was here somewhere.
Leah, did you try turning it off and turning it back on again?
Yeah, let me turn it off and turn it back on again. Hold on. I know it was on that list of quotes that I was just reading from like a minute ago. God damn it.
Guinness always goes down so quick and so easy.
May their days be long and full of happiness. May their children be many and full of health. And may they live in peace and freedom.
Yes.
Yes.
Good night, folks. Thank you for joining us.
Good night.
Good night.
We're back. We want to remind everybody that we are going to be doing a guest spot on the All Hallows Eve podcast. We'll be recording next Saturday, and which is the 26th, and the episode will be premiering that following Monday, March 30th. That will also be a release day for us as well. That'll be our 99th episode releasing that day. So Monday, March 30th, you will get a brand new All Hallows Eve podcast, guest starring your three favorite drunk, pretend to be film historians. And you'll also get a new episode from us that Monday as well, which will be episode 99, which we're going to be looking at the career of Tim Burton.
I see it on the 30th as the 100th episode. The 23rd, next Thursday, is our 99. And the 30th is our 100.
100.
And that's our AFI.
Let me double check my calendar.
Well, 99 is Tim Burton. That's next week.
Mm-hmm.
So we are recording that. I got my dates mixed up. Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that. I have my dates mixed up.
Kevin doesn't only just bring the pretty.
Hold on. Cut, print, edit. We're back from our short little break. We want to remind you that we are going to be doing a guest spot on the All Hallows Eve podcast. We are going to be recording with All Hallows Eve next Saturday, which is March 25th. That episode will be released on March 27th, which is a Monday. That day, you will be getting two episodes starring your favorite Films and Fermentation hosts. One will be our guest spot on All Hallows Eve. The other will be our actual 99th episode, which is the career of Tim Burton. And don't forget, we'll be recording our 100th episode on March 30th, which will be released the following Monday, which is April 3rd. So April 3rd is our 100th episode. We're going to be looking at the AFI films. It's not April 3rd. What is it?
No.
March 30th.
March 30th.
March 30th.
Is when we're recording it. Right?
We're recording
on
in 2
March
weeks.
30th. Next Thursday is the 23rd.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Which would
We're
Yes.
recording our 99th episode.
Yes.
right.
That's being released on Monday the 27th with the All Hallows Eve episode.
Okay.
We're recording
Okay.
the 100th episode on March 30th.
And we're dropping it on April.
And we're dropping it on April 3rd.
Oh,
See?
you guys make things so difficult.
I had it right the second time. Cut, print, edit, third time. Welcome back.